Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine the quiet, that sacred stillness just before the sun comes up. A man is getting ready for a journey, and his home is just bathed in this peaceful, gentle light. Now, this isn't just about packing a bag. No, this is a ritual. And hidden inside this simple act is one of the Zohar's most profound secrets, how you can carry your wholeness with you no matter where you go. Our deep dive begins right here with this verse about Abraham. And he went on his journeys. Journeys, plural? But wait a minute. Abraham is one man. Now, the masters of the Zohar knew that the Torah is precise down to the very last letter. So why the plural? Well, that tiny little detail, that one extra letter, it's not a typo. It's a key. It's a key that's about to unlock a hidden door. And that key leads us straight to the central question from the Zohar, right here on the screen. If he's just one man, who in the world is the second traveler? This is the mystery we're going to unravel together today. Okay, so to get to the bottom of this, we've got a roadmap. Our journey is going to have 6 parts. We'll start with this journey of 2, then we'll establish the home-base connection. After that, we'll meet the divine companion, and then decode the cosmic connection protocol. We'll learn how to reestablish the link, and finally, we'll bring it all home and apply it to your own dimensions. All right, first things first. Let's tackle that question that's just hanging in the air. Who is this mysterious second traveler? Who is riding shotgun, so to speak, on this man's journey? The Zohar pulls back the curtain and reveals that the hidden companion is none other than the Shechinah, the indwelling, immanent, feminine presence of the divine. You can think of her as the aspect of God that is most present in our world, right here with us. But, and this is a huge but, there's a catch. She doesn't just tag along with anyone. She only accompanies a person who is in a state of complete spiritual and personal wholeness. And that's absolutely crucial, because this connection isn't automatic. It's not like you just get a spiritual +1 for your trip. This bond has to be consciously, deliberately, and intentionally established. And the Zohar makes it crystal clear. This entire sacred process doesn't begin on the road. It begins at home, before you've even taken a single step out the door. Which brings us to what is, without a doubt, the most critical piece of the puzzle. The success of the entire journey, whether you have that divine companionship, it all comes down to the sacred union that has to happen at home, before the journey even begins. Now, at the very heart of this teaching is a core Kabbalistic principle you've probably heard before. As below, so above. The Zohar explains that the earthly union between a husband and wife, an ish v'isha, is a direct mirror. It's a physical embodiment of a supernal, a heavenly union. This is the bond between the divine masculine aspect, known as Zoar Anpin, and the divine feminine, the Shechinah. So get this, what we do down here, in our most intimate relationships, has a direct, tangible effect on these cosmic, divine energies up there. The Zohar puts it this way. It says that before setting out, the traveler has to be in perfect harmony with his wife. He has to be found as male and female. Now, what does that mean? It means he's not just an incomplete half. Through their union, he achieves a state of wholeness. And only in that complete state can he then pray and properly prepare for the road ahead. You know, this is so much more than just being on good terms before a business trip. We're talking about a deep spiritual alignment. This union literally transforms the home into a consecrated space, a sanctuary. It becomes a powerful home base, the actual launch pad from which this divine companionship can be established. Okay, so now, picture that man again. He's done the work. He steps out of his home, leaving that consecrated space. But he's not really leaving it behind, is he? No, he's now accompanied by this subtle, powerful divine presence. The landscape can shift, the road can twist and turn, but the Zohar is telling us he is never, ever truly alone. The Zohar says the Shechinah as dugat behadei, which means she joins with him. He's basically carrying that sacred union, that state of wholeness he created at home, out into the big wide world. So now he's found complete as male and female, not just in the city where society is all structured and ordered, but even in the field, out in the wild, chaotic, unpredictable spaces of life. And this is where it gets really cool. The Zohar reveals a secret code hidden in the Psalms. The verse says, "Righteousness shall go before him." Now, the mystics teach that tzedek, righteousness, is actually a code name for the Shechinah. So what this verse is really saying is that the divine feminine presence literally goes before him, clearing his path and guiding his footsteps. How amazing is that? But listen, this divine protection isn't a free ride. It comes with an immense responsibility. The traveler is now a custodian, a guardian of this incredibly sacred connection. He has to guard his actions meticulously, because any ethical slip-up, any misstep, risks damaging that bond. He could become spiritually blemished, and that could literally fracture the divine union. His actions from this point on have cosmic consequences. All right, let's buckle up, because now we're going to the deepest layer of this teaching, the sod, the secret, the hidden mechanics of how all this actually works. And to make this really esoteric process make sense, we're going to use a very modern analogy. I want you to think of this entire spiritual process not as some kind of vague magic, but as a form of cosmic engineering. Yeah, you heard me right. We're going to frame this whole thing as if we're setting up a secure, encrypted network connection that allows a remote terminal to operate safely while staying perfectly linked to its home server. So let's map it out. It's all right here. The man's soul, that's our remote node, our terminal. The union with his wife at home, that's the home-based server, the source code. The outside world, the journey itself, that's the unsecured external network. And the Shechinah? Well, she functions like a high-end secure VPN, providing a safe, continuous, encrypted connection right back to home base. So here's the protocol, step by step. Step 1 is synchronization. That sacred union at home aligns the node with the home base. This isn't just emotional, it's metaphysical. This act actually activates the sephira of Yesod, or foundation, which is the cosmic pipeline for connection. Without that stable foundation, you can't even get a signal out. Okay, step 2, secure connection. Prayer acts as the handshake protocol. It's what establishes that encrypted link to the Shechinah, our cloud server. This activates the sephira of Malkut, or kingdom, which is the indwelling Shechinah. And finally, step 3, maintaining harmony. While he's on the road, the traveler has to constantly actively balance the energies of Hesed, that's loving kindness, symbolized by white, and Gevurah, which is strength and judgment, symbolized by red. If he leans too far one way or the other, the signal gets fuzzy. It's a constant calibration to keep that VPN connection strong and stable. Now, there are 2 numbers that are absolutely key to this system's architecture. First up is 13. This number represents the masculine principle, Zohar Anpin. And it's not random. It corresponds to things like the 13 attributes of mercy and the 13 months of a spiritual leap year. It signifies a complete, perfected cycle of divine energy flowing down from the highest realms. Think of it as the full, powerful architecture of the divine masculine force. And then we have the number 5. This represents the feminine principle, the Shechinah. It's directly linked to the Hebrew letter He, which has a numerical value of 5. Now get this. The final He in the sacred 4-letter divine name represents Malchut, the earthly kingdom, the Shechinah herself. She is the vessel that perfectly receives the complete divine flow of the 13. Without the 5, the 13 has nowhere to go, nowhere to manifest. Together, they complete the entire circuit. All right, now let's picture the traveler's return. The journey is over, the sun is setting, but the spiritual work, oh, it is not done. In fact, the final and maybe the most important step in completing this entire cosmic circuit is just about to happen. The Zohar is incredibly emphatic about this. It says that upon returning, the man must joyfully reunite with his wife. This isn't just a suggestion, it's a sacred obligation. And this act has 2 profound cosmic purposes. First, the joy of this mitzvah is the joy of the Shechinah herself. And second, it acts as an anchor, bringing all the blessings and spiritual gains from the journey down into the home. His wife, the Zohar says, is the ultimate cause and the anchor of the entire supernal connection. And to really drive this point home, the Zohar brings a powerful verse from the book of Job. You shall visit your home and you shall not sin. Now, what on earth could the sin be here? Well, the Zohar explains it. The sin is neglecting this reunion. It would be an act of cosmic negligence. It's like dishonoring the divine companion who went with you the whole time and failing to complete the sacred energetic circuit you worked so hard to set in motion. And this leads to the deepest, most beautiful potential of this entire process. The Zohar teaches that if a child is conceived from this specific reunion, a reunion that completes this perfect sacred loop, the soul that is drawn down for that child comes from the highest, purest source imaginable. It's a soul that's born not just from a husband and wife, but from a complete 4-way union, the earthly couple below and their divine counterparts, the divine masculine and the divine feminine, from above. So that's the ancient teaching. It's beautiful, it's profound, but how does it apply to us right here, right now? Well, it's not just some mystical curiosity. The Zohar is giving us a powerful metaphor, a kind of technology of the soul for navigating our own lives.
So how can we think about this today? Well, for a younger generation, it's basically like a video game. You charge up at your home base, you stay linked by a protective energy beam during your quest out in the world, and then you have to return to base to recharge and level up. Simple. For a more technical mindset, think of yourself as a distributed system. Your primary relationship is the core node, and you have to synchronize with it before and after any external operation to maintain balance and system integrity.
Look, the technology changes, but the principle is absolutely eternal. The journey doesn't have to be across the desert. It can be a tough day at the office. The road can be a difficult conversation with a client, or a boss, or even a family member. The traveler's secret, the profound wisdom of the Zohar, is that our true strength, our resilience, our ability to walk through this world with wholeness and protection, isn't rooted in our own isolated power. It's rooted in the sacred, connected space we consciously create and nurture at home. Thank you for joining us for this complete journey through the Pardes. We hope these ancient truths help you and your family improve your own dimensions this week. If you enjoyed this full chapter deep dive, please like, subscribe, and share which part of the journey touched your soul in the comments. We'll see you in the next chapter.